Christine, how much does it hurt the WNBA when Caitlin Clark is out?
It is devastating to the WNBA when Caitlin Clark is out.
Now, I know a lot of us were expecting some sort of dip since Caitlin Clark has been out with injury, but I don't think all of us were expecting the entire viewership of the entire WNBA to be down. And this tweet from Christine Brennan really stuck out to me. She said, one player gets injured and more than half the TV audience for the entire league disappears. Has any other athlete ever had that kind of impact on a sport? Golf without Tiger definitely dropped precipitously on occasion.
The WNBA is facing serious financial problems and struggling as things get worse without Caitlin Clark playing. Once again, it seems the league has not learned how important it is to protect the player who helped bring huge attention and popularity to the game. This situation shows how the league keeps making mistakes while its biggest star is injured and unable to play. By refusing to accept reality and make better decisions, the league is losing millions of dollars every day.
And the truth is the truth, and the data is there. And what we saw when Caitlin was out the last time, the 5 games that she missed earlier in the season, the WNBA's viewership dropped more than 50%. Not just the Fever, but the entire league.
In today's world of manufactured drama and social media controversy, real facts seem harder to find, especially when the WNBA tries to succeed without Caitlin Clark. When Clark was sidelined with a quad injury on May 24th, it clearly showed how much the league depends on one player. Now that she is out again with a groin injury for an unknown amount of time, the same situation is happening all over again.
Injury jumped to her groin likely because of compensation. But the thing that you have to be careful of is if, say, you try to rush her back from this injury as well, then you're getting into this territory where a very serious injury can happen. That is what the Indiana Fever, that is what Caitlin need to avoid the best that they possibly can. So if it means that Caitlin is out for 3 weeks, if it means that she is out all the way through All-Star, then so be it.
TV ratings for nationally televised WNBA games dropped sharply by 55%. Games featuring the Indiana Fever also lost many viewers, falling from about 1.81 million people watching when Clark played to only 847,000 when she was absent. This shows how serious the situation has become. The most surprising part is that this outcome was predictable, especially for a league that keeps repeating the same mistakes instead of learning from them.
Clark went down. The WNBA ratings have dropped over 55% across the board.
Hey, guess what, guys?
The league is Caitlin Clark.
The league is Caitlin Clark. She is the WNBA, guys.
Sidelined with a left quad strain May 24th. National TV viewership has plunged since then 55%. Before the injury, the Fever, her team, were averaging 1.81 million viewers, almost 2 million. Since her injury, fewer than 850,000.
While Caitlin Clark was doing what she does best, selling out arenas, setting TV rating records, and bringing in huge revenue, the WNBA did very little to protect its biggest star. Even though she was responsible for a large part of the league's business and attention, opponents were still allowed to play very aggressively against her. Instead of focusing on protecting such an important player, the league seemed more concerned with defending the situation as just normal basketball.
News is alarming for the league, and it's alarming for the league because this is such a crucial year for the WNBA. At the end of this season, the WNBA will go into CBA negotiations. If negotiations go well, then every single player in the WNBA has a much better chance of making so much more in their next contract. And that's one thing when you start thinking about how many people stopped watching when Caitlin Clark got injured. A lot of people stopped watching because they are boycotting the WNBA. They don't want to give viewership to any other teams or any other players, whether they like other players on the team or not, because of how the media and the league itself has handled Caitlin Clark and how they have treated her family.
What makes this situation especially frustrating is that it has happened before, yet the league still does not seem to learn from its past mistakes. This is not the first time WNBA ratings and revenue have dropped when its biggest star was injured. It feels like watching someone touch a hot stove, get burned, and then try to touch it again while acting surprised about what might happen.
What's really concerning about this is the fact that we are only a month into the regular season, and Caitlin Clark has already been out with 2 injuries. With the first one being her having to miss some time with a left quad strain. Now, of course, this is concerning because if you're already on your second injury, you don't want to be that player that is always hurt. Cough, cough, Embiid, cough, cough, Anthony Davis. So I really do hope that the fever really sits her out right now for a while, only because you don't want her to have more long-term injuries and be more prone.
If you're enjoying the content, please subscribe. The financial impact has been fast and severe. Ticket prices for Indiana Fever games dropped by about 71%, with some tickets falling from $860 to only $250. On average, ticket prices during the games Clark missed fell from around $1,370 to just $80, showing how much fan interest depends on her. Some away games were moved to bigger arenas because of high demand when she played, but now those same venues are struggling to fill seats. The highly anticipated rematch between the Chicago Sky and the Fever also saw ticket prices fall from $210 to $95. This was the same matchup that once attracted 2.25 million viewers and became one of the most watched WNBA games ever. But without Clark, many casual fans are no longer interested in watching.
Man, bruh. Congratulations to the WNBA. Your ratings are going to drop by 55 to 60% once again. I believe the WNBA have successfully broken Caitlin Clark.
Veteran sports journalist Christine Brennan, whose upcoming book talks about Caitlin Clark's impact on women's sports, has strongly criticized how the WNBA has handled its biggest star. She says the league keeps missing an important opportunity, especially when fans are paying more attention than ever. Brennan believes the main problem is clear. The league knows Clark brings in a huge part of the TV audience, yet it still allows opponents to play overly rough against her. Instead of protecting the player who attracts so many fans, the league lets unnecessary hard fouls happen. It's like a restaurant allowing customers to bother the chef even though the chef's food is the main reason people come there.
As big a deal as Tiger was in men's golf, Keith, he did, and when he was gone, it affected the ratings, but nothing like that. And, Michael Jordan being out, maybe a 5 percentage points or something. Nothing like this. You can make a strong case, and I will make that case, and have that there is no one single athlete more important to his or her sport or tour or whatever the circuit is that they play on than Caitlin Clark is to the WNBA.
The situation has become very predictable and frustrating. Clark is often hit with hard fouls from opponents who seem more focused on sending a message than simply playing basketball. Out of the 30 flagrant fouls given in 2024, 5 were against her, and most of them came from the Chicago Sky. When she reacts to the physical play, people criticize her for being too aggressive, but when she stays quiet, she is called weak. It has become a no-win situation that the league has allowed to continue without fixing it. At the same time, the financial damage is growing, affecting not only the Indiana Fever, but the entire WNBA. The league was already expected to lose about $50 million this year, and without Clark playing, the losses are increasing quickly as TV ratings drop, merchandise sales slow down, and game attendance falls back to levels seen before her rise in popularity.
I don't even know where to begin, man. I hope Caitlin Clark is okay. I want to know when this injury even happened, bro, because let's be serious here. She has the quad injury. Mind you, Caitlin Clark hadn't missed a game since she was like 19 years old, since she was like 18 in college or something. Now she has a groin injury. We've never seen Caitlin Clark play as bad as she played the last 3 games. Let's just be serious here. She's like 1 for 20-something on threes in the last 3. We've never seen her shoot the ball this way. I'll say that. Has she been hurt and playing through this?
The most troubling part of the situation is that it could have been avoided. Clark entered the league as a humble rookie who often praised her teammates and did not try to make everything about herself. Even at just 22 years old, she handled criticism calmly and showed maturity. The league had a chance to support and protect her while using her popularity to help grow women's basketball, but instead, jealousy, and internal politics seem to take over what should have been a positive moment for the sport. Her injury has affected more than just TV ratings and ticket sales. Companies that invested millions because of the league's growing popularity are now questioning their decisions. This situation also highlights a bigger issue with how the WNBA presents itself. The league appears torn between acting like a serious professional sports organization and leaning into drama that creates attention on social media. In reality, it cannot do both. Strong professional leagues protect their star players and focus on fair competition, while constant controversy only distracts from the game itself.
I admire about Caitlin. She's a warrior. She's tough. You hear me? Bruh, you just don't see players. You don't see female basketball players like her. I'm sorry. I haven't seen a lot of female basketball players, like I said.
The difference between the WNBA and other professional leagues is obvious and embarrassing. Imagine if the NBA let players spend months targeting LeBron James with dirty plays and just called it competitive basketball. The league would act immediately, handing out suspensions faster than anyone could say flagrant foul. But the WNBA seems willing to let this harmful cycle continue, thinking that any kind of attention is good attention. By failing to protect Clark, the league has created a toxic environment. Fans are now refusing to watch other WNBA games because they don't trust that the games will be fair. When your own fans say they won't watch without your biggest star, it shows a major credibility problem that goes far beyond just ratings or revenue.
Clean up. I believe the physicality and all this hacking and fouling that goes on. She getting blindsided by Marina Mabrey. I think all of this stuff is having a wear and tear and an impact. And all you guys are doing are hurting yourselves because the numbers are going to drop and drop and drop. And trust me, when it's time for that collective bargaining agreement, they are going to point to this and say, well, how can we give you guys all this money? What happens if she gets hurt?
What makes this situation even more frustrating is that the WNBA has had many chances to fix things, and it has failed every time. Every incident involving Clark should have been a warning to set clear rules for protecting players and keeping the game fair. Instead, the league keeps giving the same excuses about basketball plays and letting the players play. Ironically, Clark's injury, something the league should have worked to prevent, has shown just how important she is to the league. The 55% drop in viewership makes that crystal clear. Yet, despite this obvious evidence, the WNBA shows little sign of learning. Officials still talk about competitive balance and treating hard fouls as part of the game, while treating normal plays by Clark as major incidents and ignoring the truly dangerous fouls committed against her.
Every day because of the way they play the game, because I love the WNBA. I love the way they play the game. But we really watch it because Caitlin Clark and everybody watching. Now listen, if I keep bumping her, knocking her down, might get her a concussion, you might hurt her for real. For 2 weeks, she was done with like a hamstring. She was down. 55% of the viewership was down. She comes back the next game, it's about 3 million viewers. Now, let me tell you something. Growing up in the hood, they teach you this. Always protect the money. Y'all keep hurting her and all that. She's going for a year or two. Ain't nobody gonna watch it. If nobody watches, how y'all gonna make and generate money?
Fixing this crisis isn't complicated, but the WNBA needs to make some tough choices about the kind of league it wants to be. If it wants to be respected as a professional basketball organization, it has to act like one. That means setting clear rules to protect players and enforcing them consistently. The league also needs to stop letting manufactured controversies steal attention away from the actual game. Most importantly, the WNBA must protect its biggest stars, especially those who fill arenas and drive TV ratings, from unnecessary targeting and harassment that only creates social media drama. The drop in viewership, attendance, and revenue without Clark is a clear warning. This season, the league averaged just 555,000 viewers without her, down from last year's 670,000. These numbers show a return to the pre-Clark era of empty arenas and games that few people outside hardcore fans cared about.
What I saw walk into the game is what the media don't see. Thousands of kids.
Wearing what, Gil?
Kids. Huh?
What were they
Caitlin Clark jerseys.
Were they Fever jerseys? Were they Iowa jerseys? Were they
wherever she played? It was whatever she played.
And that's what was more impressive to me.
It did that. It wasn't just it was Caitlin in the back
for her style of play.
But her style of play. But it wasn't adults. Right. It was parents bringing their kids and their friends. Mm-hmm. Them seats was kids filled.
Right.
And that's what they don't they don't grasp that part of it.
The saddest part of all this is that it didn't have to happen. If the WNBA had properly protected and promoted Clark, they could have used her popularity to build lasting growth for the league. Instead, they've created a fragile system that collapses whenever their biggest star is off the court. Until the league learns to support the players who actually attract fans, it will keep going through cycles where everything depends on one player's presence or absence. The real question is whether the WNBA will finally protect its golden goose, or continue this harmful pattern until it ruins the opportunity Clark's popularity has created. From what we've seen so far, it doesn't look like the league is likely to suddenly start making smart decisions.